It's 6:17 in the morning. You slept maybe 3 hours, not in a row. Your coffee is cold because of course it is. Your baby is in the high chair wearing more oatmeal than eating it, and they look you dead in the eyes. Not a quick look. A stare. Like they know your search history. Like they're trying to remember where they know you from. Like they're judging the fact that you just reheated the same mug of coffee for the 3rd time. And then they slowly open their tiny hand and drop the spoon. Again. You pick it up, they stare, they drop it. Again. At this point, part of your brain is going, okay, is this funny? Is this a phase? Am I teaching them something terrible by picking it up? Should I be stopping this? Why is my baby obsessed with the floor? Or maybe it's not the spoon. Maybe it's the TV remote in their mouth. The corner of a board book, your sleeve, a sock they found under the couch that you swear was not there yesterday. And there you are, doing that tired parent math. Is this normal? Is this weird? Is this a milestone? Is this a problem? Should I Google it? Please don't Google it at 2 a.m. Nothing good happens there. But here's the thing. What if none of it is random? What if the staring, the chewing, the dropping, the babbling, the weird little hand flaps, the obsession with your necklace, the way they look at the ceiling fan like it's a religious experience? What if that's not just baby nonsense? What if you're watching a brain build itself in real time? Because you are. And I know that sounds too big for a Tuesday morning with dried spit up on your shirt. But it's true. That baby's staring at you. They're not zoning out. They're not just being cute. They're not empty in there. They are finding you. Babies come into the world already pulled toward faces, not just any face. Face-like shapes, eyes, movement. Your voice. Your smell. The whole messy package of you. And direct eye contact. That's a big deal from the beginning. You might be sitting there thinking, my baby just stares at me because I'm the milk person. Sure, you are absolutely the milk person, but you're also the safety person, the warm chest person, the voice from before they were born, the face that keeps showing up when the world gets too bright and loud and scratchy. When your baby locks eyes with you, their brain is not blank. It's busy. It's mapping. This is my person. This face means food. This face means comfort. This face comes back. This face smiles when I smile. And every time you meet that gaze, even for a second, you are helping wire the social brain. The part that learns connection, trust. Back and forth, I matter to somebody, not in a fancy flashcard way, in a tiny, daily, boring way. You look, they look, you smile, they blink, you raise your eyebrows. They kick their feet like they just won the lottery. That's not nothing. That's the beginning of a conversation. But here's the part nobody tells you. And it's kind of a paradox. Your baby is staring at you because they need you, but they also need to look away. Yep. The same baby who wants your face more than anything also has to escape your face sometimes. And if you've ever been making sweet eye contact and suddenly they turn their head like absolutely not, Susan, I need space, it can feel personal. It is not personal. Their little brain just hit the limit. Too much input, too much face, too much voice, too much love, honestly. So they look away to reset, to breathe, to pull the blinds down for a second. Some parents think, oh no, they're bored of me. Others know, okay, my baby is managing their own tiny nervous system. Which one are you today? Because once you see that, you stop chasing their eyes so hard. You start noticing the rhythm. Look, connect, look away, rest, come back. That rhythm is the early shape of every relationship they'll ever have. Closeness, space, closeness again. And you're there, half asleep, wearing yesterday's sweatpants, teaching it without even knowing. Now let's talk about the remote, because every parent has had this moment. You turn your head for 1 second and somehow your baby has acquired the grossest object in the room. Not the clean teether. Not the lovely wooden toy you researched for 45 minutes. Not the soft little sensory ball. Nope. The remote, keys, your phone, shoo, the dog's toy, if life is really going off the rails. And straight into the mouth it goes. You panic. You lunge. You say, no, 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 not that, in a voice that is somehow both gentle and completely unhinged. And yes, obviously some things can't go in the mouth. Tiny objects, batteries, choking hazards, mystery crumbs from the abyss. We are not doing free-range mouth exploration with a coin, but the instinct behind it. Normal. More than normal. Brilliant. A baby's mouth is one of their best tools for understanding the world. At this age, the mouth has so much sensory information, more useful in some ways than those chubby little hands that still slap things like they're trying to start a fight with gravity. They're not just tasting, they're learning shape, texture, temperature, weight, edges. They're seeing with their mouth. That rubbery corner of the teether says one thing. The smooth side of your phone says another. Your hoodie string. A whole documentary. So when your baby mouths everything, it's not because they're bad or wild or trying to make you say what is in your mouth 600 times before lunch. They're building a map. This is hard. This is soft. This bends. This is cold. This is mom's finger. And when I bite it, mom makes a very interesting noise. You know the noise. That little, gentle noise. Your baby is collecting data. Messy data. Drooly data. Data you have to wipe off with a burp cloth. But data, and then comes the dropping. Oh, the dropping. If you are in the high chair era, I do not need to explain this to you. The spoon drops, the cup drops, the cracker drops, the toy drops, the toy you just washed drops. The toy you washed and handed back with hope in your heart drops immediately while your baby watches your face like they paid for front row seats. Some parents think, my baby is messing with me. Others think, my baby has discovered cause and effect and I am the unpaid lab assistant. Both can feel true at 6 p.m. But that dropping game, it's a physics experiment. Your baby is learning that objects still exist when they leave the hand, that things fall down, not up, that some things bounce. Some things splat. Some things make a sound that brings you over. And yes, you are part of the experiment. They drop. You pick up. They drop. You sigh. They learn, when I do this, something happens. That is power. That is agency. That is the beginning of I can affect the world. And listen, you do not have to pick it up every single time like you're trapped in a baby run escape room. You're allowed to say all done and move the spoon. You're allowed to save your back and your sanity, but it helps to know what you're seeing. Not defiance, not manipulation, a hypothesis. If I let go, what happens? If I do it again, does the same thing happen? If I look at you while I do it, will your eyebrows do that funny thing? Your baby is the most determined scientist you will ever meet. No funding, no pants. Just pure curiosity, and you're living with them. Now the babbling, this one sneaks up on you. At first it's little sounds, grunts, squeaks, dinosaur noises, the kind of noises that make you check if they're happy, mad, pooping, or all three. Then one day there's a ba, then da, and someone in the house gets way too excited and starts claiming a first word that absolutely may or may not be intentional. You know who you are. But babbling is not random noise. It is rehearsal. Your baby is practicing the moves of speech before meaning fully arrives. Lips, tongue, breath, rhythm, volume, turn-taking, and the melody comes before the words. That sing-song little rise and fall, that's language taking shape before it has a dictionary. They hear your voice going up when you ask a question. They hear your soft voice at bedtime. They hear the dramatic uh-oh when the cup hits the floor. And they start playing with sound like dough. Stretch it, smash it, repeat it. You answer. They answer back. Suddenly you're having a conversation with someone who cannot tell you where their socks went but absolutely understands the vibe. And this is where tired parents sometimes miss the magic because it is buried under the noise. You're making dinner. The baby is yelling mama, mama, mama from the floor. You're trying to figure out if that means you, hunger, boredom, or I have licked the table leg and regret nothing. But when you talk back even casually, you're giving them the shape of human connection. They make a sound. You respond. They pause. You pause. That pause matters. That pause is where the brain learns. Communication goes both ways, not just noise out, not just words in a loop. And you don't need to narrate every second of the day like a nature documentary. Please don't feel guilty if you're not saying, now mommy is opening the refrigerator and the refrigerator is cold and this is a carrot. Sometimes you're just surviving. Sometimes your biggest language enrichment of the day is, buddy, please don't lick the wheel of the stroller. That counts. Real life counts. Your voice counts. Your face counts. The little back and forth counts. Even when it's not cute, especially when it's not cute, because babies are learning in the middle of the ordinary, while you zip the sleeper, while you wipe the tray, while you say, where did this Cheerio come from? And nobody answers. Their brain is taking it in. And then there's pointing. This one looks so simple that it's easy to miss. One day your baby sees something across the room and that tiny finger pops out. Maybe it's the cat, a lamp, a balloon, a ceiling fan, the true celebrity of infancy. And your first instinct might be, oh, you want that. You get up, you bring the thing closer. But here's the big flip. A lot of the time, when your baby points, they're not asking you to get it. They're asking you to look at it with them. That's different, huge different. They're saying, do you see what I see? Not with words, with the finger, with their eyes flicking from the object to your face and back again. That is joint attention. And I know that sounds like one of those terms people toss around in parenting books that make you feel behind before breakfast. But forget the fancy phrase for a second. It means your baby has discovered something wild. You have a mind, a separate one. You can be looking at something different, thinking something different, noticing something they noticed, and they can pull you into their experience. That is enormous. Before this, the world is just happening. Light, sound, hunger, warmth, you. But now there's a shared world. Your baby points at the dog and you say, yes, the dog. And for a tiny second, you and your baby are standing in the same thought. That's language. That's teaching. That's friendship. That's every look at the moon they'll ever say from the back seat. Every watch me at the playground, every come see this bug when you are very much not in the mood to see a bug. It starts with that finger, that point across the room, that little demand for shared wonder. Some parents see pointing and think, okay, what do you want? Others pause and think, what are you trying to show me? That pause changes everything because maybe your baby doesn't need the lamp. Maybe they need you to see the lamp with them. And honestly, isn't that still what we all want? Not always someone to fix it. Not always someone to hand us the thing. Just someone to look and say, yeah, I see it too. That begins so early. Earlier than we think. And once you see it, your baby's strange behaviors start looking less strange. The staring is connection. The looking away is regulation. The mouthing is exploration. The dropping is cause and effect. The babbling is rehearsal. The pointing is shared experience. And none of it requires you to be perfect. That's the part I want you to hear if you're watching this with a baby asleep on you and one arm going numb. You do not have to turn every moment into a lesson. You do not need the best toys. You do not need a color-coded development plan. You do not need to panic because another parent online said their baby was doing something 2 weeks earlier. Your baby is not a project. Your baby is a person becoming a person. And yes, there are times to ask questions. If something worries you, if your gut is loud, if your baby isn't meeting milestones or seems to lose skills, talk to your pediatrician. You're not being dramatic. You're being their parent. But most of the weird little things, the intense staring, the chewing, the throwing, the babbling at the wall, the fascination with tags more than the actual toy, that's not proof you're doing something wrong. That's proof something incredible is happening right in front of you. And I get it. It doesn't always feel incredible. Sometimes it feels sticky, loud, repetitive. Like you are trapped in a loop designed by someone with no respect for your lower back. The block goes down. You pick it up. The block goes down. You pick it up. The baby laughs. You do not laugh. Or you do, but it's the kind of laugh that means you might cry in the pantry later. I know. Parenting a baby can make wonder feel like work because you're tired, because you're touched out, because your body hurts, because the nights are long and the days somehow also long, because everyone says, enjoy every minute, and you want to hand them a screaming baby at 4:12 a.m. and say, here, enjoy. You don't have to enjoy every minute, really. Some minutes are just minutes to survive. But sometimes, if you can catch one tiny second inside the chaos, you can see what's actually happening. Your baby stares at you. And instead of thinking, why are you staring? You think, you're learning my face. They shove the teether into their mouth with the intensity of a detective. And instead of thinking, why does everything go in your mouth? You think you're building a map of the world. They drop the spoon again. And maybe you still don't pick it up. Fair, but instead of thinking, you're trying to ruin me, you think you're testing reality. They babble in the crib when they're supposed to be sleeping. And yes, it is inconvenient. Deeply. But you think you're practicing your voice. They point at the window. And instead of rushing to solve it, you crouch down and say, yeah, I see it. And there you are, in it with them. Back at the high chair, cold coffee, oatmeal everywhere, the spoon on the floor like it pays rent there. Your baby is staring again. Same baby, same mess, same tired you. But now the moment looks different. That stare isn't empty. That drop isn't random. That babble isn't just noise. That tiny person in front of you is not a blank slate waiting for you to write the right things. They are already working, actively, relentlessly, building a brain out of touch and sound and light and your face and repetition and surprise and comfort and again. Your job is not to entertain them every second. Your job is not to perform parenthood perfectly. Your job is to be present enough when you can to notice the miracle hiding inside the mess. Because one day, that baby who stared at you over oatmeal will look at you from across a room and say, watch this. And you'll realize they've been asking for the same thing all along. Not do everything right. Not make the world perfect. Just see this with me.